Hey Tony, how was Willie Adamas, and did he aggravate the back on
He's
that
on,
throw to second?
yeah, he's on the table right now. Stemming from the issue from the past, but I think also stemming from he had mentioned that he's feeling a little run down. I would say dating about a week ago, we had some stuff kind of go through the locker room, coaches and players, more congestion stuff, sick wise. So he said a little bit of his feeling a combo of rundown, and this is all quick relay from medical post game. The only conversations with him in the game are really just about coming out. He had to fight him tooth and nail to come out of the game. But the biggest thing, you could argue what you got to do in the middle of the game. Anyone saw him moving around obviously knew he wasn't moving around after that play full speed. But the biggest thing was just not to prevent anything from getting any worse than it is. I think his frustration is, there's kind of been symptoms there lingering for just to be honest, I don't know how long of the year. So again, you got kind of some internal stuff, whatever fancy word they used in there. So there's it's not a fracture or anything like that. And then you got his willingness and want to play. So, but the bottom line is we're at a pretty distinct point here where he needs to get back to getting some treatment on that thing.
Hey,
Hope that's somewhat of an answer.
Tony, it's pretty clear just watching the game how much treatment he's getting, and he has the wrap on his back all games. At some point, do you have to take the decision out of his hands? Or?
Yeah, I mean, we had to do it today, and I think we definitely have to do it on Friday, and then we'll go forward from there.
Because this has been bothering him so long, and he comes out of the game today, do you think this is something that, it's finally going to warrant an IL stint for him to just really get it under control?
I don't think so. And again, I kind of lean on the medical staff here. Quick convos, lengthy text message. So the initial answer is I don't think so, but kind of open to, again, where we're at, what we're trying to do, whatever's best for his future in general would definitely be best, but it's kind of in the hands of a few check marks before it gets to the coaching staff as far as the lineup stuff goes.
With Houser today, obviously it was his first actual start in 2 months. What did you think of the job he did, and could it earn him an actual sort of rotation spot rather?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. I mean, before the game, we kind of stated that, this is what we wanted to do today. There's no reason to close a door saying we wouldn't do something different, given certain circumstances, regardless of how today went. Yeah, I think I think it was beneficial for him to have a change of scenery and do some things. He helped us win some games, or at least get through some games in addition to winning some games. But I think he certainly, if we're just going to isolate today's game, he absolutely established himself and took ownership of the game. The thing that stuck out most to me was the fastballs down and into lefties and the fastballs up and out to lefties. And goes without saying, with a starter, that's what you have to do, is be able to navigate through a lineup multiple times, and you've also got to be pretty balanced as it relates to right and left, and that stuck out amongst other positives of how he was able to do that.
With the offense, what stands out more, being 1 for 7, 9 left on base, or only having one base runner from innings 5 through 9?
Yeah, I mean, we came out of the chute with some really, really good at-bats. The third inning kind of turned on us a little bit. I thought that was a big swing moment in the game. They had a plan, and I don't mean to speak for them, but I don't, you map that out and it looks great on paper, but if the guys have to get outs, and our guys at-bats were really good, that we were probably speeding up their plan a little bit, and it was on course to be derailed. If Jung Hoo's ball's fair, I think it's kind of derailed, is what I said to myself at least. And then in the third inning, I think everything got back on track with about a 6-pitch inning and just 3 at-bats that we kind of gave away. So I think the innings where we weren't productive, whether it's the third guy up, there's no magic formula. You got to dig in and find a way at least to get something productive done in the inning, even if it's the way you make an out. But with the guys on base, a lot of times it was, with 2 outs or with the at-bats were really good getting up to that point. And then even a couple of those at-bats with guys on base, Jungi's ball to left center were driven well. We just didn't have anything to show for it. But, I guess I'm always leaning towards find a way to get on base. So it sucks to leave as many guys on as we did and to have as big of a gap as we did between us and them in that category. But I'm all for good at bats, and we just didn't have some in a few isolated innings.
Adrian, I think it had been 2 months since you'd actually had a start. It looked like you felt very comfortable getting back in that your regular role. How would you describe it?
Yeah, just being more comfortable on the mound, I think, is more it. Not so much if it's in the starting role or out of the bullpen. Just being more comfortable out there with my mechanics and what I'm feeling and everything like that. So just trying to build off that and take each good day and stack it on top of each other and keep going.
What do you think you were able to find in the time you were in the bullpen?
Just like I was saying last time, just a little bit better balance, a little bit more mechanics, able to get into the lower half a little bit better, and was just able to, execute and command the pitches a lot better than just feeling like they're just throwing. Now I feel like I'm pitching.
Welcome a return to the rotation if this start leads to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I signed here to do. That's what I want to do. That's what I see myself as a starter. But, at the end of the day, I always go about my business and want to, take care of today and, go out there and get outs. And at the end of the day, that's the name of the game, get outs and win ball games.
Do you feel ultimately you're a better pitcher, better player if you are in the rotation versus volunteering in that sense?
Yeah, personally, I feel that way. I feel like with the things that I do, the routine that I have going on the starter side, I feel like I'm able to get into the right spots and be ready to go every time out. But obviously, this game is all about adjustments, and so you have to adjust sometimes. And that's just the name of the game, and so you just got to roll with it and go.
You were very efficient today, but also your pitching schedule has been a little bit erratic. But do you feel like maybe you could have gone further, or was that discussed at all?
Yeah, and I think just with everything going on, kind of like you're saying, just getting back into it, we felt like we were in a good spot to call it right there. But definitely, physical-wise, body-wise, I felt like I could have kept going. So, just keep building off that and keep going with that and try to stay in that same spot.
What did you think of that double play there, able to turn to get you out of the 6th inning?
That was awesome. That's how you draw it up, right? That's how you draw up a double play. But no, that was just heads-up baseball right there. Everybody being where they needed to be, the guys paying attention and executing the play right there, and so that was great defense by our guys right there.
Adrian, you've played with Willie, in Milwaukee when he's really kind of been at his best. Clearly, he's been bothered by the back this year. It's been tough to see him go through that and maybe not be the player that he can be for this team. Yeah,
absolutely. You want everybody to be their best. We all know that's not part of it. Everybody wants to be feeling 100%, play their best every single time, every time they go out there. But everybody knows at the end of the day, those guys are, they're good 3 times out of 10. They're Hall of Famers. So, it's tough to watch guys not be able to perform up to their ability, what they want to do. But like I said, it's part of it, and he's been battling through it. And, that's kind of what we all have to do is battle through it. And, he's been hanging in there with us. And, hopefully everything gets going back the right way and he can finish these last 2 months off and be in a good spot heading into the next season.